There's a specific version of this that almost everyone has done. You pick up your phone, you open an app, you close it, you open another one, you put the phone down, 7 seconds pass, you pick it up again. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice asks, what exactly are you looking for? Because you're not bored. You weren't even thinking about your phone a moment ago. And yet here you are, mid-reach, almost on autopilot, the device already warm in your hand, before your brain registered the decision to pick it up. Most people explain this to themselves as a habit. A bad one, sure, something to fix eventually, but the psychology underneath it goes somewhere most people don't think to look. And once you see what's actually driving it, the behavior starts to make a completely different kind of sense. So let's start with what your brain is actually doing every time you reach for that screen. Your brain is a prediction machine. That's not a metaphor. That's the operating system. Every moment of your waking life, your mind is running models of what comes next, what's likely, what's threatening, what's rewarding. And it is constantly, quietly scanning the environment for information it doesn't yet have. That scan used to be about survival. Is there food nearby? Is that sound dangerous? Where are the people I belong to? These were the questions the brain was built to answer urgently and repeatedly. The problem is that the brain running that ancient software now lives inside a world where the most information-rich object within arm's reach is a small, glowing rectangle that has been specifically engineered to answer every one of those questions simultaneously. Is there something I'm missing? Is someone trying to reach me? Is there news I should know about? Has something changed since the last time I checked? The phone doesn't just answer those questions, it answers them differently every single time. And that variability, that unpredictability, is where the real mechanism lives. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner ran a now famous series of experiments with pigeons and levers. When a lever produced a food pellet on a fixed schedule, the animals pressed it steadily. But when the reward became unpredictable, sometimes a pellet, sometimes nothing, something changed. The animals pressed the lever obsessively, frantically, far more than they ever did when the reward was guaranteed. Psychologists call this variable ratio reinforcement, and it produces the most compulsive, extinction-resistant behavior of any reward schedule ever studied. Your phone is a lever. Every time you check it, sometimes there's something, a message, a like, a notification that feels meaningful. Sometimes there's nothing, and your brain, running on hardware that responds to unpredictable rewards, the same way those pigeons did, keeps pressing. Not because you're weak-willed, because you're exactly as human as you were always going to be. But here's where it gets more specific, because not everyone checks their phone at the same rate. And the difference isn't about discipline or screen time settings, it's about what the phone is actually solving for. For a significant number of people, the phone check isn't really about reward, it's about relief. There's a difference, and it matters quite a bit. When you're in the middle of a difficult conversation, or avoiding one, when you've sent a message and you're waiting for a response that will tell you whether everything is fine, when there's a low-level discomfort sitting somewhere in your chest that you can't quite name, the phone becomes a redirect, not towards something, but away from something. The check doesn't feel like anticipation. It feels like escape. Psychologists call this experiential avoidance, the tendency to sidestep uncomfortable internal states by engaging with something external. And the phone is exceptionally good at this. It doesn't just distract you. It offers you an entire parallel world to step into, immediately, with no friction, that asks nothing of you and delivers enough stimulation to temporarily drown out whatever was sitting there before you picked it up. The relief this produces is real. And real relief teaches the brain that the strategy works, which means next time the discomfort surfaces, and it always does, the hand moves toward the phone a little faster. You don't decide to do it. The nervous system just begins to associate that particular discomfort with that particular solution. Until one day, the gap between feeling something difficult and reaching for the screen is so small it disappears entirely. This is also connected to something called interoceptive awareness, your ability to notice and sit with what's happening inside your body without immediately acting on it. Research consistently shows that people with lower interoceptive awareness, those who are less practiced at feeling a feeling without immediately needing to move away from it, tend to use their phones significantly more compulsively, not because they're less intelligent, because no one ever taught them that discomfort is survivable without intervention. There's one more layer worth understanding, and it's the one people find most surprising when they hear it. For many people, the compulsive phone check is about identity maintenance. Every time you check, you are quietly confirming something to yourself, that you are connected, that you are relevant, that somewhere out there people are thinking about you, reaching for you, needing your response. The phone is not just a device at that point, it's a mirror, and the reflection it offers, I have messages, I have notifications, I exist in other people's minds, is one the brain has started to quietly depend on. A 2021 study published in Computers and Human Behavior found that individuals with lower baseline self-esteem checked their phones significantly more frequently, particularly for social validation, messages, likes, comments. Rather than functional, the phone wasn't filling time. It was filling a gap. And the cruelest part of this particular loop is that it doesn't actually fill the gap. The relief is temporary. The validation fades quickly. The notification that felt significant for 30 seconds is already invisible by the time you put the phone down. So you pick it up again, not because you forgot that it didn't work last time, but because the need it was serving is still there, unaddressed, waiting. So where does that leave you? Understanding this doesn't make the behavior stop. Knowing your brain is running a variable reinforcement schedule doesn't suddenly make the pull disappear. But it does change the question worth asking. Instead of, why can't I stop checking my phone? The more useful question becomes, what is my phone check actually solving for? Is it boredom? Is it avoidance? Is it a need for connection that isn't getting met anywhere else? Is it a quiet anxiety about being unreachable or irrelevant? Because each of those has a different answer. And none of those answers involve simply putting the phone in another room and hoping for the best. The most evidence-supported approaches work not by eliminating the behavior, but by addressing the underlying function. If the check is avoidance, the work is gradually building tolerance for the discomfort being avoided, learning, slowly and in small doses, that the feeling underneath is survivable without the redirect. If it's validation, the work is finding other, more durable sources of the thing the notifications are approximating. If it's simply the variable reward mechanism running on autopilot, adding friction, a grayscale screen, notifications off, the phone in a different room during specific windows, disrupts the automaticity without requiring willpower to do it every single time. None of this is about becoming someone who uses their phone less and feels virtuous about it. It's about understanding that the hand reaching for the screen is usually trying to solve something real. The phone just happens to be the closest available answer. And the closest available answer is not always the right one. The next time you notice the reach, before the screen is even on, there's a pause available in that moment. A single question: what am I actually looking for right now? You might be surprised what the honest answer turns out to be.